Guys, so we're working here with the Eckold HF100 hand former. Obviously this machine here has the handle. You have to operate it by hand, which limits you to one hand on your part that you might be trying to shape. And what I've got here on the table is actually the air upgrade kit for the HF100. So you know, there's a couple things that I think this thing is going to be good for. Let's say you have an existing HF100 hand former that you use all the time and you want to step up to something powered that's going to give you some more capabilities. So that's what this air kit is in that respect, or you can buy it as the air kit itself. So there's a couple of really cool features with the air kit. You know, because this is set up a little bit differently of a machine as compared to some of the bigger Eckold machines. Basically some of the limiting factors and the control of the machine is going to be based on the foot pedal here. So there's different air control here, and there's a stop inside the foot pedal here that you can adjust back and forth. That's going to basically tell the machine where to stop based on how far you're actually pushing the pedal. So, and with this all the way back, you have free range of the pedal, and you know, as you step on it, the machine can operate under its full stroke. Whereas if you move that forward, it limits the pedal travel, which is going to back the machine off and limit the stroke on it. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys how this is installed to give you guys an example of if you had one of these, or if you order it new, how you retrofit the HF100 with the air unit. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make the swap from the hand operated handle to the air unit. It comes with all the instructions on how to do it, so we're going to follow these instructions to get this process done. And so starting off, you need to obviously remove the tooling from the machine and remove the machine head from the base of the machine. And what I've got here is some microfibers with a little chunk of 3/4 plywood in here to support the base of the machine, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So go ahead and remove the tooling, loosen the knob here to hold the machine head into the base, lift that off. Now we're going to lay this on that 3/4 plywood in between the screw heads here. So we've got that laid on there. We have the backstop for the machine. We're going to go ahead and remove that just to get it out of the way. So that's off. We'll set that aside. The next step is going to be to remove the 3 big washers from underneath these bolt heads. So loosen these. Remove the big washers and set them aside. And you have to put these bolts back in. And so what you need to do in order to get this plate off of here, there's pins that go through here that are the pivot points, and those pins have to be basically removed from the plate. They're kind of a little bit of a press fit in there, so they need to be removed from that plate. So you thread the bolts back in there, thread them all the way, and you need to take a punch and a hammer, a punch with a nice flat surface on it, and give a sharp blow on that. And that's why we have that 3/4 plywood. So there's a gap underneath here that'll allow that basically the pin to slide out the bottom just enough to get this plate off. So getting these pins loosened up. And this being a new machine, these pins are pretty tight, which is obviously good. But all this is to loosen this plate so you can lift this plate off the one side of the machine. you're hammering like this, I mean, I would imagine you could do this in a press as well, but obviously make sure you don't smack your hand. So it is getting a little bit loose, but we do need to keep working at it here. I'm gonna go ahead and back this off a little bit. There's a little bit of paint built up in here just from being pressed in. So they are backing off. It is a little bit of a procedure, so we're just gonna keep smacking at it. We'll fast forward. That way you guys don't have to sit here and watch the boring. All right, so we have the plate off the side here. I'm gonna go ahead and back off these bolts that we had in here just to get these back out. We do have bolts that will be replacement, so beat the heck out of these ones and we'll be able to replace them here in a little bit with some new ones. So, all right, now we got the top plate off here. We're gonna remove the handle, and the easiest way to do that is with a bench vise. So you'll grab the machine head here, and then you just wanna clamp in the vise on these pins here, which is where the tooling cam rides on there. So, and all you really need to do is just a little bit of pressure to squeeze the arms open, to open these springs here, and then this arm can be pivoted to the side. Slide the handle off like that, and then release tension on the machine head. So, and then that can be placed back here on the bench. So now we're back over here on the bench. Now we basically just need to put the machine back together. So you grab this plate, line it back up with your pins, give it a couple little bumps just to set it in place, and then you want to grab the washers, and then for this step you can use the old hardware to thread these back in, because you're going to use this to now suck this plate down on the rest of the machine where it's supposed to be. Oops, I guess it helps if you put the washer on. But these will suck the this top plate down where it used to be, and then from there we'll continue on with the installation of the error hem. So kind of alternate the positions here just to suck the plate down evenly and make sure you're not putting some tension where you're not supposed to necessarily on this thing. So just kind of bounce around on them until you get it sucked down in position. We're getting close here. All right, so that's pretty much mounted back where it's supposed to be. So we're gonna go ahead and put the head back in the machine base. All right, so we're now placing the head back in the base. And if you didn't notice, there's a couple of recessed holes here that these knobs, when you turn them, they have a taper on them as well to match. And that's all that holds the head in there, but they locate it, you tighten these on here, and that's nice and sturdy, solid in place. So now at this point, it's going to be time to install the air ram. So the next step is to remove the bolts, these two here on the top, and there's a set on both sides, so you got to do it on both sides. Once these are out, you want to remove the washers and place the shorter bolts aside, because we have a longer set of bolts to go with it. So place the shorter bolts aside. I'm going to grab these longer bolts that come with the kit. We're going to set these here so they're right here where we need them. We're actually going to put the washers on them, so that way they're ready to go. So there's our 4 longer bolts that will go back in this location. But to start, we'll grab the air unit here. This is the ram, and this slides right over the side of the machine. And then you basically just have to locate these holes. Just you're going to push it forward until you line up the holes here. Once you get them lined up, just thread a bolt in to be able to hold it in place. Same thing on the back. Make sure that's all lined up. So we got those in there. Go ahead and tighten these up. And the next step is going to be installing the foot pedal. So with the foot pedal, basically you have an air inlet, and then also your air connection here that your hose will go in between. So so you have your inlet and you have your outlet for the hose to go up here. So it's just a slide-in style hose. So slide this hose in the outlet there, and it immediately locks in place. And then on the back side of the air ram, push that up in place, give it a little tug, make sure it's up in there nice and firmly. So with that completes the installation of the air unit. We'll do a full demo video on the air machine that's going to show all the features of it and how all the functions work of the foot pedal, and how to control the air and the stroke of the machine. So stay tuned for that, and that completes this video. So thank you.